tonight's classic battle of the night is 3 5-minute rounds in the flyweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 7 wins and 5 losses. He stands 165 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 57.8 kilograms. Representing Insider MMA and Tiger City Boxing and fighting out of the Philippines. Please welcome the Demolition Man, Jenel Lausa. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 18 wins and 8 losses. He stands 167 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 57 kilograms. Representing Manas and fighting out of Kyrgyzstan. Please welcome Ryskulbek Ibraimov. Your referee is the Bandit, Decky Logan.
Ryskulbek in the red corner, Jenel Lausa in the blue.
What I think is going to be particularly telling, gentlemen, is the first takedown attempt. Will it be successful? Will it be defended? And that will tell you where the momentum is lying in this fight.
The other thing we got to take into account, they were training, preparing for a number of weeks for different opponents, different styles particularly. How do they adapt to that? They've had basically 24 hours to rethink, to re-switch, to retarget, focus their game plans on the other man.
You can see that wide, almost traditional martial arts stance there by Ryskulbek. What Jenel is going to have to do against the taller opponent is punch to get inside and keep it in boxing range.
You can see him doing that just with the footwork, just stepping forward by inches, just trying to get inside there. That long right hand of Ryskulbek, just trying to keep him at bay.
Brave Nation, Ryskulbek is a southpaw fighter. He's fighting with his right hand forward. What his opponent needs to do is get his left foot on the outside of that foot. There's a little dance going on right now. The Filipino fighter is succeeding. He's about an inch, inch and a half away from where it needs to be. If that left foot can step on the outside, he's going to start having shots. He's going to have a straight right hand, among other blows to devastate his opponent.
You look at the game plans of this, you can see Ryskulbek very calm. There was the switch. He was waiting for Jenel to take his chance.
And that was smart. That was predicated off the forward momentum of Lausa. Beautiful duck under takedown from Ryskulbek. And let's see with his submission repertoire what he can do from here.
And again, we're probably looking for him to shelf those legs, burying that head into the chest of Jenel. But Jenel trying to get back to his feet.
You may see Ryskulbek just take that hand and frame away, but good work from Lausa to get back to his feet, but hands connected, another big takedown.
Oh, big slam there. Takes him away from the cage as well, Kirik.
He did. Standing up is tough. You're going to get hit in the head as you stand up, but one of the most dangerous moments in this sport is when you have just stood up. You're vulnerable to getting your back taken, or as you saw here, as we saw here, you're vulnerable to getting slammed down to the mat.
There's something just very composed about Ryskulbek, Phil. You just see everything that he does, even just the waiting for Jenel to come in. This is, it's just about millimeters. He's working like an anaconda up the chest there of Jenel. Just the demeanor of the man is very composed.
It's great economy of energy is what he's doing here. You can see that there's nothing wasted, there's nothing done frivolously. He's taking his time, and he's just imposing himself upon his opponent right now.
And this can be so frustrating as if you are on the receiving end of this, because, and there we see Jenel get back to his feet. That was great work. Found a little bit of space and exploded back to his feet.
Now in the over-under position, one man has an overhook, one man has an underhook. As we alluded to a little bit earlier, this is one of the most testing positions in mixed martial arts. And surely if you're Lausa right now, you'd want to try and separate so that you can land your strikes.
Well, you would think that would be where he would want to be at range, so he can use those hands, those heavy hands, those body shots, but seems very content here, Kirik.
He does. Lausa has the better underhook. There's levels to everything, including underhooks. He's got the better one. I think he feels like he can maneuver his fighter to where he wants to be, to set up a takedown, to separate safely. We're going to find out within the next 5 to 10 seconds.
And we have 1 minute 35 seconds of this first round. So far, Ryskulbek able to get it to the mat. Jenel, after a couple of minutes, worked it back to his feet, now pressuring up against the cage. It's interesting, though, what he wants to do here, Phil. Does he just want to take some of the gas away from Ryskulbek?
You can see he's creating little pockets of space from which to throw those knees, but being such an accomplished boxer and a former member of the Philippine Wushu Sanda national team, I'd like to see him separate and really let those hands go a little bit.
Shoulder there in the separation. Deck Larkin steps in. And now let's see if Jenel can get it into his range. You've seen the game plan. The blueprint is out for Ryskulbek. You know what he wants to do, Phil.
But then you might see something like he may then change things up a little bit. If the takedown's expected, he may go up high. Very intelligent fighter, as we've seen.
Oof, nice head movement from Jenel. Just ducks under that left hand coming from Ryskulbek.
A little bit of a wry smile on the face of Lausa after that shot.
Big shout out to the composure that both of these fighters are showing.
Lausa slowly putting that forward pressure on, but again, Ryskulbek trying to wait for the overcommitment.
Lovely little uppercut on the inside. Nice turn as well from Jenel there, Kirik.
It is. Jenel is actually, I don't want to say playing possum, but he's playing it cool with the strikes. He's not going to launch an all-out attack. He's going to throw the shots short just a little bit. They're not going to be really hard, and what he's trying to set up is one huge shot. He's got about 7 seconds to let it go.
The game plan of Ryskulbek seems to be wait for Lausa to overcommit to the strikes and get the takedown off that.
And Ryskulbek, that's an impressive record. He's got 18-8, but he's somebody that doesn't force the fight, Phil. He's somebody that will, he's not afraid to be in the dull fight if he can get that moment where he can take it over the edge and get the win.
And as you see here, he wasn't in a position where he wanted to press the action. He was happy to let Lausa come on to the shots, duck underneath, and being a southpaw, his takedowns come from awkward entries. Southpaw myself, it's a little bit difficult sometimes for people to get a read on that. His entries are a little bit different. They come from different sides. So I think maybe Lausa is having a little bit of difficulty with that.
As far as in the corner of Lausa, Kirik, what would you be telling him now? What does he need to do to negate some of the weapons, the range that Ryskulbek is able to keep it at?
Brian, I don't think we have seen the plan in action yet. I think the plan is to hold back a little bit, and try and land a huge shot from the outside. On the inside, clearly the plan is to push his man against the cage and try and create opportunities for short, sharp knees. But I don't think we've seen the full manifestation of that plan yet.
Second round coming to us here at Brave 47. Ryskulbek Ibraimov in the red corner, Jenel Lausa in the blue corner. 5 more minutes of action ahead of us, hopefully.
You can see a little bit more fakes and feints being thrown by Lausa, trying to perhaps get a little bit of a bite from Ryskulbek, but I think he's too cool a customer to bite on those feints and fakes. Try to sneak through the head kick, covered up, but eventually they do take a little bit out of it, even covered up. Big swing and a miss from Lausa.
When you look at that perfect record he's got in boxing, one of the things that really stands out for me when you look at some of the fights he's had in boxing is the upper body movement, the way he works his way inside. What is the difference in the stances now? What's changed for him in the mixed martial arts realm?
Well, it's a completely different sport, as you don't need to worry about the takedown, so you can sit down on your punches a little bit. And at times when he has tried to sit down on his punches and overcommit to them, he has been taken down.
Inching forward there, Kirik. Jenel certainly seems more intent in... Oh,
that's a nice shot from Lausa.
Body shot there. But he certainly seems to be edging forward a little more. He needs to now make it work for him.
That little overhand sneaked through just past the glove from Ryskulbek.
Brian, the punches in MMA look to from the outside similar to the punches in boxing, but they're very, very different. One of the differences being the distance, and what we saw there was a shot thrown from just a little bit too far out. It ended up in a short takedown.
Fantastic reaction from Jenel, though, to get back to his feet. Ducked under a right hook coming at him very nastily there from Ryskulbek.
But again, that's what we were talking about earlier, Brian. The threat of committing to your punches means that you can potentially be taken down, and that's what we're seeing from Ryskulbek here.
And again, we're looking like a big slam coming our way. Boom! Jenel taken down to the mat in front of his own corner.
Gentlemen, that little flare that we saw there on the takedown, the little throwing up of the legs is huge, because if this does end up going to a decision, takedowns are sometimes underrepresented. They're underscored by judges. When you have a massive takedown like that, it is impossible to ignore.
It's big breaths now coming as well from Jenel. You can see frustration maybe.
Well, he's expended a lot of energy trying to get up, Brian. So when he has got up, he has had to shake the arms out a little bit, and it's almost like a GSP-esque approach from Ryskulbek. He's grappling, he's smothering, he's forcing his opponent. All that lactic acid is gathering in the muscles. And if you're thinking about it that way, he's taking away the biggest weapon that Lausa has, that being the hands.
And working again on the cardio now as well. Just happy to grind on him against the cage here, Kirik, in half guard.
He is one of the signature things about mixed martial arts from a physiological point of view is it requires two completely different sets of talents. Striking requires explosiveness and pushing out. Grappling requires the exact opposite, pulling in and static. And forcing a fighter to go back and forth between those two, as you can see, is extremely draining to anyone.
Lausa trying to use that wizard to get back to his feet, but he's almost cutting an ever so slightly dejected figure. A couple of deep breaths there, Brian.
Deep breaths indeed, and as he posts that arm to try and stand up, as soon as he does, you'll watch Ryskulbek feed that hand back towards him, taking that base away.
Just landing enough pot shots here to prevent the referee from standing them up.
And you look at the control Ryskulbek is able to get over his opponents. You go back and watch a number of his fights. He puts them in these positions. This is where he's happy. He doesn't take damage, buries that head, and just keeps peppering away.
That's a beautiful work there. He has that hand around the waist. If he needs to, he may take that frame away again, but the close control that he has. Oh, cheeky little fence grab there.
Worked. So
it's a
Decky
veteran's
Larkin
move.
on the other side.
He almost looked up at Decky Larkin there like a kid that's stolen a biscuit out of the jar. Another big takedown from Ryskulbek.
This time away from the cage, Kirik. What changes here? What does Jenel need to do?
He's trying to get in on that guillotine, gentlemen. But he's flat backing a little bit too much with it. He needs to compress his body, get onto his shoulder, and really apply pressure that way.
The odds of being able to finish with a guillotine from bottom half guard in MMA are very, very slim. If anything, it can put you at a disadvantage. You can get caught in a Von Flu.
That is beautiful work of the wrist control from Ryskulbek.
Just technically, the wrestling, just his instincts in positions, his control is phenomenal.
It's the little nuanced movements, what I like to call the microaggressions of mixed martial arts. Very, very smart work.
He's actually feeding that neck out there, trying to get his opponent to reach around the neck. He may try and clamp down with both hands, may pull his head out.
Still happy to work away in this top position. What a miserable grinding position this is to be underneath. 10 seconds left in this second round.
The mind and the body are inextricably linked, and it is depressing to be stuck underneath somebody who's punching you in the face over and over again, and it's exhausting. It has a double effect.
And you talk about that effect, because the other effect is that frustration that can come out, Phil. And Jenel, we know how dangerous he is with his hands. We know he can finish you. We know he can knock you out. But he's got to be careful not to just do the work for Ryskulbek, step into his range so he can get taken down easily coming out into this third round.
He needs to land his shots and move, but that's something that takes top-notch cardio. And as we've seen, he has been drained by Ryskulbek, so I'm not sure if he still has the capacity for that. But in a situation like this, you cannot be a static target for somebody with the wrestling credentials and ability of Ryskulbek.
There we have Jenel in the corner there. His corner trying to amp him up, trying to get it back in this game. Just look how cool and calm Ryskulbek is as we step into this third and final round here at Brave 47. You've got to say, gentlemen, Jenel has it all to do.
Yeah, conceivably down 2 rounds because takedowns score big, and it's not just the takedowns, it's the control 100%. That you're seeing Ryskulbek impose upon his opponent. But Lausa, if he wants to win this fight, it has to be by finish.
Jenel Lausa has got to set up that finish that he needs with some circular movement. If he stalks his opponent like he is now, he is in all likelihood going to end up on his back again, and in all likelihood, he does not stand up from there.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Solid right hand connects there against Ryskulbek. You can see he's really winging for the fences here.
But he needs to get his back off the cage. That's exactly where Ryskulbek wants him. And just as I say that, in with another perfectly timed takedown is Ryskulbek Ibraimov.
And as he hit the mat, he gave his corner a look of frustration there. They knew he had to stay to his feet, but within 30 seconds of round number 3, Kirik, he's back against the cage, butt on the mat.
Jenel Lausa may try and slow the fight down in hopes that Decky Larkin stands it up. If there's no significant furthering of position and the shots that are landing are not having a great effect, Decky will stand it up.
You can see Lausa just trying to dig in for an underhook here, and Just, if anything, the fact that he's not achieving it shows you just how tightly compressed Ibraimov has him.
You can tell just Ibraimov knows where to put the pressure to control him, to keep it up against. And it's those nuances, those intricacies, the understanding of how to manipulate somebody else's force and weight. He really has got it down.
Having his opponent now compressed against the cage. Lausa trying desperately.
That's good work, made space, got back to his feet.
Now let's see what he can do with it. He did land that big right straight.
And again, he lands it there. Working forward, but you know the level change is coming. You've got to make sure he makes him pay as he comes in or he gets out.
We'd like to see Lausa move in and out just a little bit more instead of the constant forward motion. That constant forward motion.
He landed another good straight there, gentlemen.
8-1 for his trouble as well, but Lausa will not be scared of that. If he's in range to take one, he'll give you one as well. Now he's got Ryskulbek much more on the back foot against the cage, but nice footwork there. And this is the thing with the circular cage. You can't back someone into the corner. They can always laterally move, find a way out.
Beautiful head movement there from Lausa. It's almost like he's trying to set up that one quitter hitter knockout punch. And as we've seen a lot in mixed martial arts, when you go looking for the knockout, that's when you won't get it.
And that is a big moment, avoiding that takedown. This is his best 2 minutes of the fight, gentlemen. But he has to connect if he's going to turn the tide. Oh, the right
that's a
hand
huge
just...
shot. I think he wobbled him a little bit there.
Now he gets out the grip there of Ryskulbek. Mentally, what's that doing to Ryskulbek now, Kirik?
This is absolutely the best that we've seen the Demolition Man. He stood up from a takedown. He avoided two. He feels like this is his moment to take over the fight. He feels that he can continue to move forward, shut the takedowns off, and land that huge hand.
Just misses with the right, and that is what Ryskulbek uses. Oh.
Again, and that's bound to be so disheartening, going from the most advantageous position you were in the fight to them being taken down.
In exactly the same spot as he was taken down earlier in the round. 1 minute 45 seconds now for Jenel to try and find his way to his feet and change this again. But great work from Ryskulbek. He was under pressure there, and despite the big heavy shots came in, Phil, he found the takedown again.
And again, I think that just speaks to his patience. He wasn't overcommitting, wasn't rushing anything. He saw the opportunity, took it, and is now once again in the ascendancy on the ground.
So Ryskulbek in this dominant position. Now the clock is the enemy of Jenel.
Jenel did make it up from this exact position earlier in the round. He knows in his heart he can do it one more time, but he's got short time.
Coming up to the final minute of this fight. A real chess match between these two stylistically. But Ryskulbek has just found the moves, dug deep, and executing again. Phil, it's the technique. It is the technique, his entries, his timing, and then his control.
And you can see now, he's not forcing any action. He's doing just enough to keep the fight where he wants it. Has beautiful wrist control. You may see him snake that hand around the waist again. And Jenel again with the cheeky little cage grab. It really is do or die right now for Lausa. He has to make something happen if he's going to have any chance of pulling this fight back.
Trying to work his way to his feet. One last effort on the balls of his feet now, but you said it earlier in another fight, Kirik, standing up is one of the most dangerous positions, and you can just see Ryskulbek is either waiting to pull that base away, or if he gets up, take him for a ride.
And just seamlessly, just almost slips forward into the mounted position. And happy to finish the fight right here. Almost a knowing look on the face there of Lausa, gentlemen.
Real frustration there, just unable to deal with the style, the technique that came from Ryskulbek. It will go to the judges. Stranger things have happened, but you've got to say, Phil, Ryskulbek almost a shutout there. 3 rounds where he's able to control Jenel for the majority of those rounds.
Yeah, based on the 3 rounds of action we've seen, that's a clear-cut decision victory for Ryskulbek. And again, it was the perfect game plan when you're going against somebody as dangerous as Lausa on the feet and doing it on short notice, having that change of opponent, but showing great MMA intelligence, great MMA game planning. And Lausa right now sitting in the cage, taking the gloves off, looks a dejected figure.
And the flyweight division has a huge spotlight on it, particularly over the next 21 days. And Ryskulbek has just shown he has got a skill set that will be a problem for a lot of the flyweights, Kirik.
100%. What you saw there is an example of cage generalship. It's not just a big hand, it's not just takedowns, it's not just submission danger, it's putting it all together in a way that shuts your opponent down hard. I'm using the word generalship very carefully. This is real cage generalship that we just were exposed to.
See that? The
Lausa
gloves
taking the
coming
gloves
up,
off,
that's
yeah.
always. We know that he has had a love-hate relationship with mixed martial arts. Will this be the last time we see him compete in this sport? He's got such a successful career in boxing. He is such a great character as well. You look at the following he's got in the Philippines, what he's built, the personality of this man.
Yeah, a great fighter in his own right, a real pioneering character, as you've alluded to, in the Philippines, but the wrestling of his opponents have invariably been his Achilles heel.
And you can see there the difference there, wrestling wraps there. So Phil, with the way that the hands are wrapped there from Ryskulbek, that is to allow him to have better grip when he attaches to his opponent. Doesn't protect the hands for the punches, uses them, opens those up so he can control his opponents, as he did against Jenel.
Scorecards have been tabulated. Carlos Kramer is in the cage. That means one thing and one thing only. It's time for the official decision.
All right, Brave Nation, another incredible battle inside the Brave CF 47 Asian Domination Cage. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. The first judge scores it 30-27, second judge 30-27, and third judge 29-28 for a unanimous decision victory for our fighter from Kyrgyzstan.